I'm Percy. This is Mercy. Mercy is...
Hello.
Welcome to a new edition of the hit new morning show called... where every day we upload a short little video that's hopefully something inspiring and motivating and educating and maybe just a little bit distracting. Like, today's Friday, September 25th, and today's gonna be a special episode. We're gonna interview my boss. No, not Mercy. No, not Mercy. Boris. So Boris is my boss at Census, where I work. That's my day job. Future Percy and Mercy, take it away.
First,
All right.
introduce yourself, please.
Okay. My name is Boris. I work with Nate. I'm originally from Canada, and I live in San Francisco.
What do you do for work?
What do I do for work? I work on a small team called on a product called Census. We help people kind of connect all their data and like learn what their customers are doing, so they can better, be better better supporters of their users. What I love about that is, we build a tool on our team that actually helps other people do their job better. I kind of help drive what the product should look like and try to get the best team to work on it. And I get to work with your dad every day, which is pretty sweet.
Okay, next question. What do you have any hobbies? Is it hobbies or hobbies?
Hobbies. I think you wanted to ask about.
I mean, I guess I have lots of habits and lots of hobbies. Some of these are obvious, but I love to read, playing a video game once in a while. I kind of like to hack on computers, like in my free time sometimes. Eating out used to be one of my habits, and now we can't do that as often. So trying to get better at cooking, which is kind of a hobby habit, I guess, at this point. But I'm not that good compared to my brother and my parents. They're really good at cooking.
How are you learning to cook? Did you gravitate towards like a certain chef, a TV show, or a book?
I don't think I have a formal process. In fact, I feel like there isn't a good, here's how you go from beginner to intermediate to pro. I actually use a lot of New York Times recipes and like Mark Bickman recipes. Anything that has a video definitely helps. But I really have trouble with recipes that are not targeted at the right skill level, because I always feel like I'm gonna mess it up and then I won't know what to adjust, because it's like it was way too advanced for me to get right. So I've actually, that's what I would love to see personally, a cookbook that is oriented around or cooking instructions, or a chef oriented around from good to better to best.
Totally. Have you read any Tim Ferriss's stuff? He's got like that 4-hour chef. And he does leveling up kind of stuff.
I have not. All right, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I might have to look at Tim Ferriss for cooking.
It's an interesting book. I don't even know what book.
You don't even know who Tim Ferriss is. That's right. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. How did you pick up carrot?
A career you wanted to.
Oh, how did you?
Oh, a carrot. I mean, I usually pick a carrot by length. Like, you don't want it to be too long. That's very important.
Do you just go for the orange ones, or do you try the purple and weird colored ones?
I'll eat the purple ones, but only if they're cooked. I don't know why. I can't eat those ones raw, but I'll eat the orange ones raw.
Oh.
Maybe that's like a mental block. I feel like the colorful ones.
We're starting to get into some interesting quirks of Boris here about.
All right. I think the colorful ones. I think the colorful ones should be roasted. I don't know why. They don't seem right to just eat raw.
You'll only eat roasted broccoli, right?
I didn't know that about myself. Now I don't know what to think. This is the first time I've realized that. I'll have to think about that some more.
The actual question is, how did you pick a career?
Okay, well, that's...
Pick carrots.
That's a good question, Addison. I think, I think it's half I picked a career and half the career picked me. So when I was your age, I fell in love with computers because my dad brought home a computer to the house, and I just thought it was fascinating. And I was always really, really into it. And just kind of everything about it, right? Like the things you could do with it. I could program it. I could play on it. I could communicate on it. And when we got the internet, that was kind of magic. So I was always just...
Computer.
You have your own computer? So we only had one computer for the whole house, but when I turned 12 or so, I think 12, the computer was moved into my room. So the whole family computer was in my room. So that was pretty great. I just knew I liked whatever this machine was. And so I got really into like, what are things I can do with that? And so when it came time to go to university, that was my first choice. Like I just was like, I wanted to go work with computers, whatever that meant. And so I studied computer science. And then, you know, like that starts shifting your career, right, towards working with computers. And then I found that I enjoyed, you know, kind of programming the computer and thinking of what you could build with it. And so then my first job, I started working on designing tools for building programs. And so my career started on not just working on computers, but actually working on tools to help other programmers, right? Tools to help other people work with computers. So I think really deep down, not only did I really like computers, I wanted more people to kind of take advantage of it and discover how cool that was. And so that's kind of where I started. And then, you know, you just start getting into more, you know, not just working on building a product, but also I got to interact with lots of customers and lots of people who were users of what we were building. And so you just start really getting into that and wanting to find ways to talk to more people and get your ideas out to more people. And so that's, you know, kind of what drove me to then start my own company and continue to kind of build tools for people who want to use computers. Computer hadn't come to my house when I was 6 years old, maybe I would have picked a different career. My plan B was to be a historian.
Really?
Wait, to be
Yeah.
what?
A historian.
What do you do if you're a historian?
I was gonna. What do you do if you're a historian? That's a really good question. I'm not 100% sure, but I really liked history. That was my second favorite thing. So
you don't even know what you're gonna do.
Well, that's why I didn't pick it. I picked computers. That's why I didn't pick historian, because I didn't know what the job would be. So I decided computers. At least I know.
Yeah,
But I just like history. I was a really big history nerd.
You know, like I went through chemical engineering, and I think one of the hardest things about being one of those kinds of engineers is like when you do all this like academic stuff, but it's so you don't get this hands-on stuff, because like with chemical engineering, hands-on means you've got to be working at like a plant.
Yeah.
And so it was like so abstract to me, but when I got to do computer stuff, it was like it was so attractive that I could like instantly have, you know, like almost like a tactile relationship or whatever with a computer that you don't get in some of these other engineering fields.
Yeah. No, I had friends who did it. Was it environmental engineering? And that's really cool. But, you know, you have to go into a place, you have to do a survey. It's like a really long time to see the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like with computers, like you can almost have something in an hour. You can make something and see something, which is pretty great.
That's also a good question. You wanted one of your last questions you wanted to ask was?
Sure. What was a time when you
Weren't.
felt
Mm-hmm.
unsure of yourself?
Yeah. So she was curious about a time when you weren't sure of yourself.
I don't know why I couldn't read that because I wrote it.
Yeah, you weren't sure of yourself when you were reading this back.
Is your handwriting not as good as you think? So the oh wow, okay, well, you really wrote.
You wrote these out.
And I did.
Addison, that's I mean, there's a short answer and a long answer to that. The short answer is I'm always unsure. Like I think don't let adults fool you. I think we're all a little bit unsure all the time. Whenever you feel like there's a, you know, kind of a major decision, then you feel extremely unsure because you have to suddenly, it feels like if you don't make the right calls, you know, you'll regret it. Almost every day when I'm thinking about what I'm doing, I'm a little bit unsure. And they all involve, you know, kind of almost like a physical transition, like when I was moving from place to place. So I grew up like really far from where I live now. And, you know, the first step was going to university and deciding where I would go. And would I stay near home? Would I go, you know, thousands of miles away for university?
Yeah.
And, you know, how was that gonna, and that would have changed my entire life path, right? Because it would have made different friends and I might have studied the same thing, but I would have ended up in a very different place. And so that was the first kind of case, I think, when I was super unsure. You just make it was a bit of a gut decision of like, I had read a lot about this university and so I went to that university and I don't regret it at all. Although I would have liked to take more summers off, but that's a different story. Probably the most, kind of scary thing that I did as an adult was, it again goes back to the career, which is I decided I had a really stable, like good job, and I decided to leave to start something of my own with two friends. And that's pretty scary because it means suddenly I won't know what my future will look like. My parents were very, they come from an academic background and they were very, very stable careers. And so it was a little scary even to tell them that I was going to quit my job and start a company. So that was probably the one that felt really uncomfortable and scary. And you know what got me to do it? You think it's like, oh, it's the brilliant idea, right? It's like you have this great idea, so you went off and pursued it. But for me, it was that. But I don't think it would have been possible if I didn't have the right, partners in crime, the right friends to do that with. And it was really because the three of us were on the same page that we were able to have, the courage to do something crazy and quit and start our own company. One of the scariest, kind of most unsure moments in my life.
Yeah. I feel like,
but honestly, all the time.
I feel like this is going to be an obvious question because now you're on startup number 2 with these same friends, right?
Yeah.
In the process of starting even the first business or the second business, have you felt any, maybe a tinge of regret or something getting in a business with friends, right? That it put a strain on a relationship that you were like, is it worth that? Or not. And it was like, no, the pros totally outweigh the cons. We're stronger friends than ever. What's the dynamic there, Ben?
That is that's a good question. So, I think for this particular, for me and this group of friends, like it's turned out great. Like there's been I don't think there's really been any negative from getting into business with these two friends. But I think there was a period when you could, I worried, I think all of us worried that, when you start working together all the time, it's kind of like when you have friends who become roommates and like you're not sure if you will be compatible as roommates. So working together is very different than being friends, right? Because you're actually spending the work day together rather than the evenings together. And I think once you get past that, once we understood that we could work really well together and that we could be honest with each other and that we could be angry and happy all the time and it was okay, then I think doing a second one became very easy. But I think in the first one that we just took a gamble. I don't think we understood whether we would be compatible, business partners. And so I would definitely be scared to do it with any other friend now. I think you're right. I think it's so easy to think that, hey, we're friends. We like let's work together. And I don't think that you should assume that would work. Yeah. I think there's something very weird that happens when you start spending all your time together rather than just, hanging out at a party.
Do you have any recommendations then about like dating your friends as business founders or like even non-friends, like something to look for, I guess, that's like a signal that like, this person would make a good partner or not?
You have to work together. You have to do something not social. Addison, you might like this. So before we started our first company, one of my business partners and we were very good friends and we wanted to do stuff together. And so way back, we got an iPad when the iPad was brand new. And we decided we would make like apps and games for this iPad for kids. And so we started making some apps, just the two of us in our after work time. So we both had a job and we would just meet up in the evenings and make like games. And we had a very successful app called Puppy Pals, which was photos of puppies. And you could kind of score them like from 1 to 4 paws. It was really fun. And so we worked together on that for, well over a year, almost 2 years. And then, or a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah. And then based on that, we had the confidence to work, to go one step beyond, right? And start quit our job and start a company together. But that's my only advice is you have to work together or you have to do something. That's a lot of people meet their business partners at school. Schools are kind of like friendships, but you have to do work together. You kind of have things you're forced to do. So that's my only idea. I don't think there's any, I don't know any other way you could determine whether someone is a good business partner. It's really hard. Work on some silly apps on the side.
Yeah. Ooh, Puppy Pal sounds fun too, though. Yeah.
Puppy Pals is fun. It was pretty popular actually for a while.
Sounds fun. I love puppies.
But I think that wraps this up. This was awesome. Boris, thanks for your time, man.
Thanks for the interview, Addison. This was it's nice to talk about these things.
You're welcome. Oh, wait.
What?
Oh, that's right. One last special question for you about your aptitude with Microsoft products, given your
I used to work at Microsoft, yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead, ask them what you want to ask them.
How good are you at
PowerPoint.
Oh, I excel at it.
What?
Was that a Microsoft
Office pun.
Office fun?
Was that a Microsoft Office pun, Boris?
Word.
Hopefully you enjoyed the interview. We haven't actually done it yet, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully that turned out okay. Have an awesome Friday. We got an interview with Boris, my boss, and I can't.
Except he's in the wrong meeting again.
I'm in the wrong meeting again.
If you watched our Allison video, you know that he was in the wrong meeting last time too, weren't you?
I guess. Why is that just my eyeball?
Oh, because I changed it to just your eyeball.
Are you serious?
Yeah.